What's up, everybody? Jonathan Rose, owner, Masters in Trading. This one's important, guys. Starting to get concerned. Let me go over. We're going to be talking about bonds. We're going to be talking about TLT. We're going to be talking about S&P futures. So TLT last trade 139.43. Looking at things technically, we have the big rally where rates go lower, then bonds come off, rates go higher. Bond prices and yield work inversely. So when prices go higher, yields go lower. So the first thing that I want you to see is TLT is getting very close to the 100 period moving average. Just going back and looking over the last year, the 100 and the 200 period moving average have been extremely reliable. But that's just the start. If we look at the options, and Pablo Lucino, who runs our Masters in Futures room, brought this to my attention, you'll see 10,000. These traded last Thursday. 10,000 puts were bought at that time on the 129 strike. How do I know they were bought? Well, I was watching the trade at the time. I just forgot to make a video. But 10,000, this was a really, really big order. When we start to see unusual options activity in bonds, probably should be paying attention. But here's what really stands out to me. As many of you may or may not know, I was the sixth employee of a bond futures firm back in 2003. By 2011, we had 150 employees, and we were able to sell that proprietary firm to $1 billion hedge fund. So when it comes to bond futures, interest rate futures, I know my stuff. Give me the benefit of the doubt here, guys. I know what I'm talking about. So in front of you, we're looking at a relative value spread between the 5-year future contracts and the 30-year future contract. Now, technically speaking, the 5-year is more of a 4-year note, and the 30-year is more of an 18-year bond. So 18 minus 4, 14 years. 14 years of duration is what we're following in this spread. So as this rallies, it's also called steepening, the yield on the 4-year versus the 18 is getting wider and wider apart. You'll see that this spread rallied, came off, flattened, and then rallied like gangbusters, and now is finally turning. When we got down here, if you remember, all the talk across all the media was talking about an inverted yield curve. Now, yeah, this is 5-year futures out to 30-year futures. The real discussion for an inverted yield curve was more about the difference between 2s and 10s, but you can see it down the rest of the yield curve. Here's what I want to show you, though. I overlapped SPX. You can do S&P futures. It doesn't really matter. Okay, apply, okay. Looky here. SPX is going to be in the purple. The spread between 5s and 30s is going to be in the yellow. What you can see, and this is a really unique way of looking at the market, right? There's not many people that are following this correlation. As the S&Ps went higher, the yield curve steepened. The yield curve steepened because a steepening in today's environment gets us further away from the main risks, which the media is telling us is an inverted yield curve. You'll notice here, the yield curve, or the S&Ps, turned lower. At the same time, the yield curve steepened, but what happened? They came back, right? And they came back to being correlated. Same thing here. Yield curve got absolutely smushed, flattened like a pancake. S&Ps fell off. It rebounded. They both moved together until now. Now, the steepening yield curve is turning. If it turns and continues to turn and possibly trades lower down here, down here, down here, I have a really good feeling those S&Ps are going to finally finally take a breather, even with all that Fed buying, and start trading lower, because as the yield curve flattens, we're going to get back into that discussion about an inverted yield curve, what it means for the US economy, what it means for the global economy. So what I suggest to you, watch this like a hawk. Here's the spread. Here's the formula you can use for Thinkorswim users, 4 times ZF minus ZB. That'll get you the proper ratio. Watch this. It'll help with your risk. It'll protect you. My name is Jonathan Rosen. I'm the owner of Masters in Trading.